going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I bring you guys our Road to Regional Series episode 20, where I learn the VGC 2017 format and ultimately compete in St. Louis on March 4th at the Regional. I've got a very special guest today, and I'm very excited to announce him. He is the 2014 German National Champion, the 2015 UK National Champion. He placed third at Worlds in 2016, and he was the DreamHack Champion in 2017. Give it up for my good friend, Markus Stadter. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, dude? That was one hell of an intro. Thanks so much for having me.
You deserve it, man. You've been dominating the scene for quite a while now. Picked up that nice W at DreamHack, and you came in third at Worlds. That's pretty impressive, man.
Now you got me blushing over here. But yeah, today I'm just here to try and learn something from you while you learn something from me. I don't know
what I'm going to teach you, man. I think I'm going to be doing most of the learning here, dude.
Yeah, but thanks again for having me. Really looking forward to this. And yeah, your team sounds cool. And I don't know. I just want to watch some battles. And
all right.
As I said, yeah, I haven't used some of the Pokemon you have on this team. So, as I said, yeah, I also can probably learn something from you here.
It'll be a lot of fun, man. Togedemaru has been an amazing Pokemon so far in this format. I'm really liking it, and it may have a spot on my St. Louis team. We'll see. But real quick, guys, I got to encourage you to check out Markus's channels in the description below. I know you've been doing a lot of Twitch streaming. You got a YouTube channel as well. I see you on Twitter all the time, so definitely check out all his social links in the description below. Hit that like button down below if you're hyped for another episode, and my plan is to hopefully get you guys a brand new team for the next episode. I'm working on it. Been a little busy lately. Hopefully we'll have a new team next. So Markus, before we jump into our first match here, I gotta ask you, because I ask everyone this, if you had one tip for a new player in VGC or someone who's learning, what would that tip be? It could be about anything, but what would your one tip be if you had to shed some light on the format?
Yeah. Of course, there's a lot of stuff you have to think about when starting with competitive Pokemon. The game is very complex and so on. But the one thing that I really want to encourage everyone is to try, all competitiveness aside, the most important thing is still to have fun with the game. I know that sounds like a little bit like a cliche, but if you have fun and you're enjoying playing, then you can I don't know, anything, whatever is fun to you, you can do that. You can copy a team from a top player and play it around with that, or you can create your very own team. You can do, I don't know, a full team of electric types, whatever. If that's fun to you, just go ahead, have some fun, play, and then with playing alone, you will eventually understand a little more what works and what doesn't work, and then you'll come up with a really fantastic team at some point, hopefully.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Obviously, having fun should be a core principle of what you're doing here. It is a video game after all, and that's what they're for, right? Is to entertain us, entertain ourselves, and to give us a little break from the real world, I suppose. Real quick, we'll throw this down here as well. We got a question today for you guys as well before we jump into the first match. What is your favorite item in VGC 2017? Now, we got these super berries. I'm seeing a lot more scarf Pokemon over the last maybe month or two popping up. You're seeing a lot of Lele's being scarfed. Garchomp's getting scarfed a lot of the time. I've seen a lot of those actually, but I gotta ask you, Markus, right now, if you had to pick one item, what would it be as your favorite item right now in the format?
Yeah, you call them super berry. Other people call them I don't know, 50% berry. They're a little weird, but I really like having fun with Aguav berry, Iapapa berry, Wiki berry, and all of those. Since some Pokemon that don't really have a good recovery, all of a sudden, if you can recover 50% of their health with just a random berry, that can change the outcome of the battle. And there's also a lot of strategy behind it, because you need to maneuver your Pokemon around in a way that they would activate the berry, since unlike Citrus Berry, which usually always activates with those berries, you have to make sure that they get their HP from 0 to 25% so that the berry activates. And yeah, that factor is pretty interesting to this year's format.
Yeah, definitely interesting, and you saw there's a number of different Pokemon that benefit from the ability Gluttony, of course, allowing them to activate that berry at 50% like you would with a Citrus Berry. So you see things like Muck, of course, being the biggest standout there, but things like Snorlax as well, also benefiting from those new Super Berries, as I started calling them that because of Kanto cast Blue, actually, from this past weekend. Him and I were talking about that quite a bit, but either way, let's jump into it, man. Let's go for it right now. We're going to jump into a match here on the championship Battlespot ladder. I've got a great coach here to help help me out, so I'm ready to go. Pretty much the same squad here, rocking this Togedemaru, and I gotta say, man, Togedemaru's been a great lead. I'm running it with Fake Out, Encore, Spiky Shield, Nuzzle, so much focused on the support end of things, but getting that Fake Out off on the first turn has been super crucial, and then even more so, I love Encoring things into Protect, and I love getting that Nuzzle off to really help out things like Tapu Bulu, who are a little bit slower otherwise.
Yeah, and then you also have that nice Lightning Rub ability, of course, to support the Gyarados, I would assume.
Exactly, and that allows me to potentially get up a Dragon Dance with Gyarados and so on and so forth. So first match here, looking like we got a little bit of a rain option with the Pelipper, Koko, Kartana, Garchomp, Lele, and Gyarados. First thing I see here in terms of this matchup is, let's see here, I definitely like my Togedemaru. I think Togedemaru can really scare out the Pelipper and the Koko and potentially paralyze some of the other stuff, so I really like that, potentially taking away that electric typing. I like Nihilego because I do have HP Ice on that, plus I have the Rock, the Power Gem to hit the Gyarados and the Sludge Bomb for Lele. Otherwise, I think Ninetales could actually be pretty effective here too, and I think I almost have to bring Arcanine because of Kartana. So for me, I'm thinking I want to lead Togedemaru, Gyarados perhaps, and then Nihilego, Arcanine in the back. What would you say? Oh wait, I don't even think. Yeah, Ninetales is an idea.
Ninetales is also something you want to bring. But yeah, that Kartana. If it wasn't for the Kartana, then you could easily like not bring the Arcanine against those two water types. But yeah, also like Ninetales Freeze Dry can do 4 times effective damage against Pelipper and Gyarados, since that's like how Freeze Dry works.
Yeah, I'm gonna lead Ninetales, and then I'm gonna lead Togedemaru maybe, and then bring Nihilego and Arcanine in the back.
Yeah, I think it's either Nihilego or Gyarados. Because if you can get up a Dragon Dance, it can be good. But Nihilego can also be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Nihilego. I think it'll be better in this situation. But we'll see how it goes. That's definitely an interesting situation there.
It's definitely a good sign that you want to bring like 5 of your Pokemon, or that 5 of them are good. That's better than if you would only like bring 3 or something like that.
Fair enough, fair enough. These are the kind of matches, though, that get me a little weary about using Togedemaru as a lead, but I know how much utility it can provide, and if I can get a Nuzzle off on something like Kartana, then I could allow something like Nihilego to outspeed it and then do a lot more damage to it, too. So that's kind of why I've been... I mean, I feel like every match I've played with this team so far, I've pretty much brought Togedemaru. It just feels like it functions very, very well right now, but this is an interesting setup here. He's got Garchomp, Kartana. I'm a little worried about the Scarf Garchomp being a thing here. I do have a free opportunity to go for Blizzard and a Fake Out, though. And I'm definitely leaning towards doing just that. Maybe going for a Blizzard and then faking out the Kartana slot.
Yeah, and you have to have the Air Balloon, so even if you say switch the Kartana out into Pelipper to cancel out your Hail, you would still not take any damage from the Togedemaru whatsoever.
I could make a bold prediction and Freeze Dry into the Kartana slot and fake out into the Garchomp slot, but that seems a little risky.
Yeah, I think if you're your opponent and if he brought the Pelipper, then he probably wants to switch it in here. But then again, switching a Pelipper into a Togedemaru is always not something you really want to do. So I think just for the first turn, just going for a Blizzard could probably just be enough. And even if he switches into Pelipper, like there's a 70% chance to hit the Blizzard even outside of Hail.
Oh, he switched out the Garchomp slot, so a little surprising to see there. Here comes the Tapu Koko, which isn't a bad situation for me by any means, because it's going to catch a Blizzard to the face here. Not to mention, I'll get that Fake Out off on the Kartana slot, so this is looking like it's going to be a pretty solid first turn. He's going to Detect with the Kartana, so I guess I lose out on that, but nevertheless, I should get a Blizzard off here into the Tapu Koko slot, and that's going to do some solid damage to it. It'll probably bring it down relatively low. I was not expecting that first turn, though, but... so here's an interesting scenario that we're in here. Kind of what I'm leaning towards is he can't go for any electric type moves, but what he might try to do is double into the Ninetales to break a Sash here. That's definitely what I'm thinking. I do like the opportunity of going for a Protect with my Ninetales right now and going for a Nuzzle into the Kartana slot. What do you think about that play?
Yeah, I really, really like that. I think he would probably want to go for like a Dazzling Gleam to break the Focus Sash on Ninetales and also pop the Air Balloon on the Togedemaru, and then something like a Smart Strike into your Ninetales. So Kartana and Ninetales like have the same base speed, so they're potentially speed tying here. But if you get off that Nuzzle, then you would of course get that speed advantage into the next turn. And I would really like... I would be very shocked if he switched into Garchomp or something like that there.
All right, well, let's make that play here to ensure that Ninetales will outspeed the Kartana on the following turn. I could have also made a play into the Arcanine slot. I am specially defensive, so I'd be able to really take any hit, including this Dazzling Gleam, but my Togedemaru is very bulky. It's got max HP, max speed, because it's not meant to be offensive, so I should eat that up. I don't know whether I'll take the Sacred Sword here if he goes for that, but I guess we'll find out in a second. He goes for the Smart Strike, so we're fine. Yeah, he doubles into the Ninetales, so we predict that properly, and now I get a Nuzzle off into the Kartana slot, which is quite nice because now I get to fire off a double blizzard.
Yeah, and since this Kartana has already shown Detect, it's probably safe to assume that it has like the Focus Sash its item, so at this point it's pretty much useless. So since yeah, Kartana's special defense is just so paper thin, literally, it should take a ton of damage from the incoming Blizzard.
Yeah, I really have no reason not to click Blizzard here. The other option is, so now I have to decide whether I want to do with my Togedemaru. Part of me is debating on switching it out because I think that Coco is still going to Dazzling Gleam here. So I could switch into the Arcanine slot to take a little less damage, keep my Fake Out for later.
What you could also do is just nuzzle into, like, say, the Coco, since if you get off the Blizzard, it would faint either way. And if he switches out into, say, the Pelipper, if he has that in the back, then you would get off another, like, paralysis on that.
Okay, I like that play too. So let's do that. Yeah. Let's go for the Blizzard and the Nuzzle here. Good observation there in saying that the Kartana is obviously not Assault Vest. He's going to break our Sash here, which is definitely a bit of a bummer, but this Blizzard should be able to pick up the kill on both, I would guess. Especially considering Kartana is definitely Focus Sash. Let's see. That is going to pick up the double KO there. We got a crit on the Coco, but that definitely does not matter. We know he's got Garchomp in the back and just one other Pokemon, and Ninetales is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and so now we didn't like waste the Intimidate from the Arcanine, and whatever he has in the back just has to like take the Intimidate once we switch into Arcanine. So yeah, I'm really liking this position, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think the big question here is trying to navigate around that Garchomp, finding out whether or not it's Scarfed. If it is Scarfed, that could be very scary. I don't think it is at this point because I think he would have kept it in if it was. Because he could have doubled into me, but he's got the Pelipper here, and he's going to set up the Drizzle. So now I have to make a tough decision on how I want to go about using my my Ninetales here. What would you do in this situation?
I'm thinking about, like, the one thing that could really hurt us is if that's Choice Scarf Garchomp, as you were saying. And so, in order to, like, stop that, we could switch out the Togedemaru to keep Fake Out for later on. And I think the Arcanine is probably the least useful member at this point. You don't have extreme speed, right? So
no.
Not even that could help.
What do you think? I could protect Ninetales here, or I could go for the Freeze Dry into the Pelipper slot.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, like, you could protect Ninetales since actually if the Kartana had the Focus Sash, then the Pelipper cannot have it. So
yeah, I gotta make a decision here, so I'm just gonna make the play. I'm gonna switch the Freeze Dry and then switch out into Arcanine here for the Togedemaru slot. Kind of ran out of time there, so we couldn't think of our play.
I think that's good, because with the Intimidate, you should be able to take any attack from the Garchomp if it is Choice Scarf. And you have to imagine that he wants to set up Tailwind if he can protect with Garchomp here.
Yeah, we'll see what he's gonna do. Definitely an interesting situation. We're gonna connect the Freeze Dry here, so that's just gonna bop the Pelipper. There's no chance that thing's living. Oh, he lived on the Focus Sash. He was sashed. Okay. Wow. And he's gonna fire an Earthquake off here, which is gonna do quite a bit of damage. I know Arcanine can easily take that. I'm curious to see whether Ninetales will take it. At least we know now that he's not sashed. That's really useful.
Yeah. But yeah, with the Pelipper on 1 HP, even if you set up Tailwind here, we could probably like switch out the Ninetales, and then bring it back in later. So we have the Hail to feint the Pelipper.
I think I want to double protect here.
Just solo out one turn?
Yeah, well, I just protected with Ninetales. I'm just trying to figure out how we can get it, because basically I need to get Togedemaru back in and Fake Out. So maybe
what you can do is switch Ninetales and sack off the Nihilego.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's what I have to do, and then maybe just protect
and then protect, exactly. And then the next turn you bring in Ninetales again, protect Ninetales, let Arcanine faint, and then you have Togedemaru in, so you can Fake Out the Garchomp and like Blizzard or Freeze Dry it.
Yeah.
And the Pelipper will go down to the Hail in the process.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we gotta do. He's gonna protect Pelipper here, and then I'm sure he's just gonna fire off an Earthquake again, which is gonna probably destroy both. Well, it's gonna destroy the Nihilego here, that's for sure.
Yeah, that should be enough. 4 times super effective. So yeah, Nihilego, typing wise, would have been a good choice here, but unfortunately he was able to get off that Tailwind since he had the Focus Sash, and now we unfortunately have to sack off the Nihilego here.
Alright, so now we're gonna go into our Ninetales slot to change the weather here.
Exactly, and protect with Ninetales and just attack with Arcanine.
Yeah, alright, this is cool. This is a pretty safe way to go about this. Unless that Pelipper's carrying Roost, man, we should be good.
Then there's always like... that's also a fun thing about Pokemon, like sometimes those really obscure move choices could do something here. But yeah, so we should be able to protect the Ninetales.
And then I'm probably just gonna Snarl or something like that with Arcanine.
Yeah, yeah.
Might as well. I mean, I guess I could Flamethrower, but we'll go for the Snarl just to hit both here. I'm sure he's just gonna double into me here. He's gonna Earthquake and then likely go for a Water type move into the Arcanine slot, which is fine. Here comes the Earthquake again. We know the Arcanine will live this due to the -1 from the Garchomp, but if the Pelipper targets the Arcanine slot again, which seems like it most likely will, he's gonna pick up the kill. So this should work out as planned. Here comes the Hydro Pump. Oh, he targets the Ninetales actually, which is not a good situation. Well,
yeah, I was actually thinking that we could have roared our own Ninetales to ensure that like we get to switch in the Togedemaru for the Fake Out next turn. But now what we have to do is like switch out Ninetales and sack off the Togedemaru as well, then protect, stall out his Tailwind, and then take the KO with Ninetales. Since
yeah,
now
well,
we don't have
this is his last turn of Tailwind, yeah. So I basically just have to make that switch into Togedemaru with the Ninetales slot here, and then we can just protect Arcanine.
Or just attack, or it doesn't really matter. We'll feign to hail either way.
Yeah, okay, so we'll do a Flamethrower here. Interesting stuff, man. What are the chances that this Garchomp is actually scarfed with Tailwind? Do you think that's a thing? No, we know it's not, right?
No, we outsped the turn he set up Tailwind, yeah. So he could be, I don't know, Choice Band potentially. But yeah, for that it didn't do enough damage. So the one thing that could be a problem is if he's like special defensive and has Yaki Berry to decrease the power of Ice type attacks. But yeah, that would be just like,
that'd be very specific.
Yeah.
He might have it though.
Tailwind petered out, Hail is still up, so we can go for the like powerful Blizzard. And that should KO even if he had that.
Yeah, I would think so too. I mean, this is a pretty powerful attack coming off here. Got plenty of turns of Hail here, so I'm just gonna fire off that Blizzard into the Garchomp slot. This should secure the victory unless something crazy happens. We are faster, but I don't see a berry. I think we're good, man. I think we're good.
Yeah, nice.
All right,
yeah,
man.
So that endgame was actually pretty cool. Because, like, even though we gained a very, very early advantage in Pokemon, and we probably could have played for, I don't know, like a 3-0 victory or something like that, by doing the moves we did, we ensured that we would get the win, like, guaranteed, even with him setting up Tailwind, even if he had a Choice Scarf Garchomp. So that's something that, like, if you're, like, over the basic fundamentals of battling, at some point you start to think about, okay, like, I'm in a really good spot, so now what could happen for this to go wrong, and then you try to counteract against those ways.
Yeah, that's definitely a very important thing to learn. I can tell you from single battle experience and now trying to translate to this, it's really about understanding what is your way to win and how are you going to guarantee your win and how can your opponent win in any situation. Like you said, I think you brought up a great point. We had a huge advantage there picking up the 2 kills right at the beginning and we were up 4-2 essentially, but I made the mistake first of all in team building of having 3 Pokemon that are weak to ground and a Garchomp on the other team, but more so importantly we were able to identify the fact that alright, as long as Ninetales is around and we have the potential Fake Out from Togedemaru, those are the ways that we can pick up a win in this matchup, and it worked out in our favor. So, you ready for another one, man?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's grab another one here and test our luck. So far, we're undefeated, man. I don't know if I've had a guest yet who has gone undefeated in the episode, man. So you definitely, you're definitely in for a tough. This is it right here. This is the deciding factor, Marcus. I have faith in you, man. I really do. So let's do it.
It's you who's battling. I'm just here like doing some comments from the back row.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame Marcus though on any losses we have, guys. So here we go. We got Angelos from Spain. I'm just kidding.
That's bad.
And they've got interesting team here: Kartana, Gigalith to bring the sand, Arcanine, P2, Garchomp, and Lele. So I definitely am gonna bring my own Arcanine, just because I have Roar for the Porygon too. So I really like that as a lead option. I also kind of like Nihilego here. I think Nihilego can help handle a number of different threats. It's a little hard to deal with a couple ground type Pokemon though, so I do have to be a little cautious there. I do like Gyarados in this matchup too. I think Gyarados could be really effective. I'm leaning towards Ninetales, although I think he's gonna win the Weather War. So I definitely know I want to lead Arcanine. And then in terms of
one threat we have to consider is his Gigalith in Trick Room, because he can hit Arcanine and Gyarados with super effective damage with Rock Slide, of course. So
I mean, Bulu's an option too, but Bulu is just, it's going to destroy a couple things, but it's also going to, like, you know, be walled pretty badly. So I definitely want to lead Arcanine.
Definitely want to have Nihilego, Arcanine, Gyarados, and the last slot is up to debate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lead Arcanine, Nihilego. I'm going to bring Gyarados in the back, and then I think I want to bring I do kind of like the option of Ninetales in the back.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna go with that because I don't really see Togedemaru doing much, and as much as I like Bulu, I just think he has too many things that can stop Bulu.
He's Arcanine and Cortana, like 2 mons that just shut down it instantly, and the Garchomp could have Poison Jet potentially. So yeah, at the moment in the current state of the metagame, Tapu Bulu against certain type of teams is just not as effective.
It's unfortunate too because it's actually my favorite Tapu, but I have such a hard time using it. Like I have it on this team to help against that ground weakness, but it just seems like everything that it can one-shot so many things, but it's just a little weak otherwise. But we're gonna get the double Intimidate off here, which is really nice. But he has a much better lead option against us than we have against him right now.
Yeah, I like the Gigalith lead. Instead of trying to set up the Trick Room first, he probably expects some sort of, I don't know, Taunt from Gyarados or the Roar on Arcanine that we actually have. So he isn't just trying to lead off with Porygon, set up the Trick Room, but instead leading off with that Gigalith to immediately pressure us.
So I kind of want to protect Arcanine and switch Nihilego out into Gyarados here to get a second round of Intimidate off and also pressure the Gigalith on the next turn. I don't anticipate the Kartana doing anything other than Leaf Blading or Smart Striking into the Nihilego slot. So I'm leaning towards a Protect and then switching to Gyarados.
Yeah, that sounds like a fine play. Getting off another Intimidate, then if the Kartana decides to stay in this turn, then the next turn it definitely has to switch out, giving us some opportunity to attack. It looks like he actually stayed in. So yeah, that's a lot of momentum we can get by doing this switch.
Yeah, definitely a rough first turn for us, but now we immediately pressure out the Kartana with our Arcanine slot, which is really good with a Flamethrower. He could potentially be in Assault Vest and live, but now he's got double Intimidate on both of his Pokemon, and we do predict that properly. Smart Strike does go into the Gyarados slot, which is going to do pretty much nothing. Now the question was, he's going to fire off a Z move here. Is it going to be the Continental Crush? What is that one?
Yes,
I don't even know.
Yeah, that's Continental Crush, and that should go into the Arcanine, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't make sense for him to go into Nihilego here, I don't think.
So let's see.
But he could catch our Gyarados off guard here really badly. Let's see. That would be pretty bad. But yeah, it is going to be the Arcanine slot. Pretty sure we'll take this after 2 Intimidates, though.
Easily 2 Intimidates and through the Protect. So even though that's
pretty much nothing.
Move, yeah.
So now I have an interesting choice here. Obviously, a Flamethrower into the Kartana slot makes a ton of sense, and I do have the opportunity to go for a Waterium Z into the Gigalith slot. We know his potential back Pokemon could be Arcanine, P2, Garchomp, and Lele, so nothing really wants to take that Waterium Z. So I could make the incredibly obvious play here and simply Flamethrower Kartana and Waterium Z into the Gigalith. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you could also Dragon Dance up with the Gyarados, though. Since maybe he wants to, I don't know, switch out the Gigalith into his Porygon 2 or something like that to catch the Z move. So by going for a Dragon Dance, we would increase the power for the next turn.
All right.
And even if he attacks with Gigalith, he would probably have to go for, say, Rock Slide or Stone Edge. It's super effective, but shouldn't do all too much, I think.
So he's going to switch out the Kartana slot and take a Flamethrower into his own Arcanine, which does get an Intimidate off here. So that's definitely a bit of a bummer. But we will get our Dragon Dance to basically kind of negate that Intimidate. And then it's going to be interesting to see. He's going to protect Gigalith. So good call there. We don't waste our Waterium Z. And now we get to use it on the next turn if we want.
Yeah, now he has 2 Pokemon that are weak to Water-type attacks. And one of them just protected. So we could make a play here and potentially double up into the Gigalith with Hydro Vortex and Flamethrower to try and catch the Kartana switch in. Another option would just be to go for the Waterium Z, like attack into either Arcanine or Gigalith and switch out the Arcanine so we can Intimidate later on.
Yeah, but, I kind of like that a little bit more. I'm a little concerned here about the potential Wild Charge coming out from this Arcanine slot, if I'm being totally honest. But I do kind of like that play that you just mentioned, doubling into the Gigalith slot in case that Kartana comes in. If he does Wild Charge into the Gyarados, I am faster than him, so he'll get the kill there, but I do have Nihilego in the back, so I could check that afterwards.
Okay, so where do you want to double?
I think I'm going to go Flamethrower into the Gigalith as you suggested, and then Waterium Z into the Gigalith slot as well.
Okay. Yeah, that should knock it out, and he just protected, so... Yeah, if we can get rid of that that Kartana somehow, then Nihilego should have a few time.
He is going to switch out here, so you make a good call there. In comes the Kartana, so you predict that perfectly. Unfortunately, that'll kind of burn our Waterium Z, which is definitely a bit of a bummer. But I'm thinking that Waterium Z plus Flamethrower should be able to pick up the kill on Kartana.
Yeah, easily. And once again, I think it's definitely worth to like double up there to cover all options he had, since again, Nihilego can really easily deal with the Arcanine, and it can also do a little bit of damage to the Gigalith. And yeah, depending on what his Arcanine goes for here, we might lose the Gyarados, but yeah, not without taking out the Kartana in the process.
He's gonna actually Willow into the Gyarados slot, which honestly isn't that bad for me. We'll lose our attack, but we can still put on some offensive pressure, and we save the Intimidate for later. But Markus, with that pro plays there, covering the Kartana slot, which makes all the difference as we pick up the kill there. So that was a big play. We get a crit, but that definitely didn't matter. But that was a really good call there, man. Being aware of the potential Kartana switch in and basically playing the safe play, because the worst case scenario there is exactly what happens, and the best case scenario is he stays with Gigalith, we knock it out with the Watirium Z, and then the Flamethrower just goes into the Arcanine anyway for chip damage. So definitely a pretty solid turn there.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to try and read what like random opponents on Battlespot will do, since you don't have any idea about how strong they are and how far they think ahead. But this guy, he had already switched out his Kartana into Arcanine, which is a good defensive switch and made a lot of sense, so I figured that probably he wanted to do the same thing with Gigalith again.
So I'm a little bit worried about this Gigalith because the two Pokemon I have in the back, Ninetales and Nihilego, don't really put a ton of offensive pressure on Gigalith. So I'm definitely leaning towards trying to get a Waterfall off into the Gigalith slot here just to get as much chip damage as I can, and then potentially protecting with Arcanine here.
Yeah, or maybe even like, yeah, switch out Arcanine so we can get off an Intimidate later on and switch into the Nihilego. It would be the other option. But
I just think
yeah,
that's I'm a little nervous to switch in Nihilego into an attack though.
Yeah, it's a little squishy, and we don't want to be hit with, I don't know, a random Stone Edge or something like that. So yeah, we can just chip away on the Gigalith. Then once we are able to cancel out the Sandstream with Ninetales, it will lose the special defense boost. So then our Nihilego will do a little more. And so by doing that, we can probably just chip down the Gigalith.
He's got Morning Sun on his Arcanine, which is a very interesting combination on a Sand Team, because that's going to heal him much less than it otherwise would. But I'm curious to see what this Gigalith goes for here. He's going to go for a Stone Edge and does go into our Protect there. So that actually works out well for us. And we got the chip damage we wanted. And we can continue to just put the pressure onto the Gigalith, because it seems like this Arcanine is very defensive.
Yeah, so now I think now the switch from Arcanine to Nihilego makes even more sense, since there's a chance that he just wants to protect his Gigalith this turn, seeing how much damage the Waterfall despite the burn did. And yeah, his Arcanine can't really do too much to Nihilego, and I wouldn't want to break the Focus Sash on Ninetales just yet and switch into Stone Edge, but our own Arcanine can't really do anything at the moment, so I think switching it out here...
I kind of disagree in a way, because I feel that if Nihilego comes in and takes a Stone Edge from a Gigalith right now, then I'm going to basically lose Nihilego, and then I don't have a way to beat Arcanine. That's the thing I'm concerned about.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the other option would be to just stay in and predict where he is going to protect and a Waterfall that slot. Another interesting thing we could think about is roaring our Gyarados if we don't have anything better to do, since that would reset the Intimidate and give us a free switch into either Ninetales to cancel out the Hail or into Nihilego to then pressure the Arcanine.
I went with that play. I like that idea of going for the Roar into our own Gyarados here. And he's going to actually go for the Burn Up on his Arcanine slot here into our Gyarados for some chip damage. Not going to do a ton, but if he does target us with the Gigalith, he will pick up the kill. He does go for the Stone Edge into the Arcanine slot and does pick up the kill into our Arcanine, but we do get our free switch in now to our into our Ninetales. So... Nihilego, really.
He lost the fire typing on his Arcanine here, interestingly to note. So now Power Gem won't be super effective anymore, and at the rate of HP he is, I don't think that Sludge Bomb would be enough to knock it out.
But I can double Blizzard and Waterfall into the Gigalith here if I wanted.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, he showed Protect, so I don't know if he's carrying Wide Guard as well. That's something to note, but... I mean, at the end of the day here, I think a Blizzard and then simply going for a Waterfall to guarantee the kill on the Nihilego, or I'm sorry, to guarantee the kill on the Gigalith, maybe?
Yeah, and maybe he even wants to switch out the Gigalith here just to get back the weather, but then the Arcanine is still, like, I don't even know what the proper name of the type is. It's question mark type.
Yeah, question mark type. Alright, I'm going to target a Waterfall into the Gigalith slot here and a Blizzard into the Gigalith slot, well, into both. And hope he doesn't go for a Wide Guard here.
Yeah, even if he does, Waterfall plus Hail could be enough to knock it out, and the Arcanine hasn't really shown us too much offensive pressure, so I'm not sure if he can even knock out the Gyarados right here.
He switches out the Arcanine into Lele. Very interesting play here. This isn't going to be terrible for us, because we're going to get a Blizzard off into the Lele. We would have seen... let's see what he does here. he doesn't go for anything with the Gigalith, so we should be able to pick up that kill into the Gigalith slot.
Yeah, we still have Nihilego in the back that can
and we
easily
get a
do it.
freeze. Oh man, the freeze into the Lele. I feel so bad.
Yeah, but again,
not really. 20%
actually,
chance.
If this was Choice Scarf, then maybe that actually could matter. But yeah, so now we only need to get rid of the Lele, and then we have Nihilego to take out the Arcanine.
I like it. I like it a lot. So far, so good. We still have our Sash intact. We have a full health Nihilego in the back, which is very nice. Potentially being able to power gem into that Arcanine slot and do some serious damage. Still a little nervous about this Arcanine, especially considering we know it has Morning Sun. But I see no reason not to go for a Waterfall into the Lele, and a Blizzard here, I think, is probably the best play.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Fire off a Blizzard here, and then just kind of trying to get that Waterfall off into the Lele slot and just do as much damage there as we can. And it seems like Waterfall plus Blizzard should do enough to Lele to pick up that kill. And then we're basically 3v1 against the Arcanine slot. He does try to protect with his Lele, or he's Scarfed, one of the two. We don't get that intel here because he's frozen, but we will be able to get off the Blizzard into the Lele. I wonder if this is going to kill. This is going to be very close, I think. We are, I think, -2 now.
Yeah, and we're burned.
Oh,
so.
he is, but he is going to die
But
to the
there's
hail.
still the hail, exactly.
And he's going to go burn up into our Ninetales slot, and does remove his typing here. So that's definitely going to be a bit annoying for us to deal with now. But at least we get rid of the Lele, and now we are basically going to be 2-on-1 against Lele, because I think Gyarados is going to go down to burn plus hail.
Yep, and then we can just go for a Sludge Bomb and Blizzard, and that should be enough to knock it out.
Yeah, especially considering the Blizzard now is going to be neutral to the Gyarados, or to the Arcanine slot, since it does not have its fire typing anymore. Yeah, I don't really see any way this goes wrong at this point in time. I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, definitely. The freeze, if that Tapu Lele was actually Choice Scarf, then the freeze definitely sealed it here. Since without that, then we would have to like play a little more careful here with our Ninetales. But yeah, the way it worked out, yeah, I don't think we can complain.
Yeah, I'm not complaining, man. I'm firing off a Sludge Bomb because it does more damage than Power Gem, plus it's got the chance to poison, but I would imagine that we shouldn't need any of that. I think this will do it. Oh, wow, that Blizzard we got a crit there anyway. He's going to activate his Berry. That's actually interesting. Berry? Is it the Super Berry? It is the Super Berry. So things are getting a little bit more interesting here, but
so
I don't...
There's one theoretical way he could win if he has Bulldoze. But he doesn't, okay.
Bulldoze. Oh man, I haven't seen that yet, but he's gonna go for Snarl here. Pick up the kill on the Ninetales, and it looks like Nihilego should be able to secure this one unless he's got a very powerful Extreme Speed, but we've seen Burn Up, Will-O-Wisp, and Snarl, so I don't think he has Extreme Speed on this set.
Yeah.
And Morning Sun, yeah, so he doesn't even have Protect, and the Hail almost picks up the kill here. But I gotta say, Marcus, we did it, man. It looks like we're gonna walk away here with 2 wins, dude. That's not too shabby at all, man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Even though this opponent wasn't like super high rated, he definitely played well, like with the defensive switches and having the Gigalith Kartana Arcanine core, so to say, and then the Tapu Lele waiting in the back. But yeah, somehow we were able to just outmaneuver him a little bit. We made some cool plays. The double up into the Gigalith stands out there, I think. And yeah, in the end, Gyarados did a lot of work despite the early burn, right?
Yeah, it did. It definitely put in some work there. It seemed like my opponent tried to focus on it, but couldn't focus on it enough because of the other threats we had next to it, being the Arcanine mostly, and then switching into the Ninetales, the Nihilego, getting that in later. But yeah, that Gyarados was able to sit on the field for quite a long time, and that's why I've really liked using this core between Togedemaru and Gyarados, because Togedemaru can serve as a lead even without Gyarados on this team, and it's proven to be very, very effective to allow other things to basically put in the work, and paired with Gyarados, it's very, very effective. So I've been having a lot of fun using this little combination between the two. So I think I lost Marcus here on the call. Let me try to reconnect. There you are. You're back.
Yeah,
all right. We lost you there for a second. But all I was saying was I just like the combination of using Gyarados and Togedemaru because of how versatile Togedemaru has been even without Gyarados. So some pretty cool stuff there. But I think we can wrap up here, Marcus. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know I caught you studying. So thank you, by the way, for joining me and the aDrive Army here on an episode of Road to Regionals. Guys, I have to encourage you guys, please check out Marcus's information in the description below. I got his Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube links there. Check out his stuff. He's been doing Twitch streams, like I said, all sorts of cool stuff. And I think that's it, man. Any final words from you?
Yeah, once again, thanks a lot for having me, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see some of you people in the VGC scene in general in the future, whether it is in attending tournaments or like spectating the whole thing or just like keeping tabs of what is going on there.
Yeah, man. Thank you again so much, dude, for your time. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. That's going to be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye, guys.